Increasing evidence is emerging that psychedelics, when used in the right environment and with the right guidance, can create a transformative effect for individuals who feel like they've been held hostage to their symptoms of trauma. Medication-assisted therapies, which is what we call these types of therapies, they can produce a whole host of different effects, anything from euphoria to peacefulness to really quite the opposite, which is why it's important to have somebody who can guide you through whatever your experience is into healing. And if you're curious about what is this medication-assisted therapy, but you're uncomfortable with the idea of using a medicine, you can actually do breath work that is deep, conscious breathing that can induce altered states of consciousness, similar to using these types of medicines. Holotropic breath work is one example. Whatever you decide to do, it's important that you have a practitioner. It could be a therapist, could be a shaman, could be any practitioner that understands firsthand the medicine and the process, holds it in high regard, holds you in high regard, and that you feel you can trust to do this healing journey. There should be 3 aspects to that process. The first should be the preparation session, in which they're helping you understand the process, answering questions, helping you understand the medicine and what may or may not happen, and then getting your consent. The second part is the sessions with the medicine. And then the third part is having integration sessions in which you make meaning from whatever experience you have on the medicine. Some medicines are fairly quick. Ketamine is an example. It's about 2 to 3 hours in your system, whereas other psychedelics tend to last about 8 to 10 hours. It's important to understand the varying types of medicines, the impacts of the different medicines, to really decide which medicine you want to utilize in your healing process before you find somebody to work with you. There's all kinds of variations with what kinds of impacts different medicines have, but there's also a lot of overlap. So for instance, with MDMA, a lot of people say that they had less fear, they were more able to learn, they were able to self-regulate, they were able to increase their trust in that relationship with the therapist. They had a sense of calm, openness, increased clarity. They had increased ability to look at themselves. They were more ably socially engaging. They were having feelings of connection to themselves, to other people, and an increased sense of empathy for themselves and others. You're going to hear a lot of similarity, but with ayahuasca, there was more of an emotional release, as well as that ability to emotionally regulate, that ability to look at themselves, to connect, to grow and have deep spiritual insights that reduced anxiety, depression, and increased this sense of purpose and meaning. Also, there's oftentimes an altered sense of time and space, which can actually help a person have a different perspective about their trauma. And there has to be oftentimes a purging. Not always, but a lot of people I've heard who have gone through ayahuasca have had diarrhea or vomiting, just kind of physically getting it out of their systems, and then closer personal relationships, heightened sensory perceptions, all kinds of effects. I just want to remind you that you need to most importantly find a practitioner that you trust and that you feel like you're fully on board. So if there's any hesitation, any concern, get those questions answered, worked through them so that you feel fully on board and ready to go on this experience. The more open you are to it, the more healing tends to come from it. So if you want more information about trauma and treatment from trauma, please go to my website at www.resolvetorise.com. You can send me a message through my website, or you can leave comments on YouTube.